Over the past several decades, the structure of global power has been gradually transforming. After the end of World War II, the United States emerged as one of the most influential nations in the world. Its strong economy, advanced technology, powerful military, an extensive network of international alliances allowed it to shape global politics, trade, and security for many years. This period is often described by scholars as a time when the United States held a dominant or leading position in international affairs. However, global power is never static. As different countries develop economically and technologically, the balance of influence begins to shift. In the 21st century, several emerging nations have grown rapidly and begun to play more significant roles in international decision-making. One of the most notable examples is China, which has experienced remarkable economic growth since the late 20th century. Through large-scale industrial development, technological investment, and global trade expansion, China has become one of the largest economies in the world. Its international initiatives, such as infrastructure investments and expanding trade partnerships across Asia, Africa, and Europe, demonstrate how new economic powers can reshape global relationships and influence. Another important example is India. With its rapidly growing population, expanding technology sector, and increasing global partnerships, India is becoming a key player in global economics and diplomacy. Countries across Asia and the developing world are also strengthening their economies and increasing their participation in international institutions. As a result, global influence is no longer concentrated in a single region or nation, but is becoming distributed among multiple powerful actors. This shift is often described by political scientists as the transition from a unipolar world to a multipolar world. In a unipolar system, one country has the majority of power and influence, while in a multipolar system, several nations share significant authority in shaping global outcomes. Multipolarity can lead to both opportunities and challenges. On one hand, it allows more countries to participate in global decision-making and economic development. On the other hand, it can also create competition among major powers as they pursue their own strategic interests. Technological progress and globalization have also accelerated these changes. Advances in communication, transportation, and digital technology allow countries to develop faster and connect with international markets more easily. Global institutions such as United Nations and the World Trade Organization provide platforms where many nations participate in discussions about security, economic policy, and international cooperation. These institutions highlight how modern global governance increasingly involves multiple influential states. In this evolving environment, the United States still remains a major global leader, but it must operate within a more competitive and interconnected international system. Understanding these shifting power dynamics helps students and observers of international relations recognize that global leadership is constantly changing. The rise of new economic and political powers illustrates how development, innovation, and strategic partnerships can gradually reshape the balance of influence in the modern world. The internal challenges faced by the United States have become an important topic in discussions about the country's stability and its role in global affairs. These challenges are not limited to one area. Instead, they involve political, economic, and social factors that influence how the nation functions internally and how it presents itself to the world. When a country experiences significant internal pressures, it can affect decision-making, public trust in institutions, and the effectiveness of national policies. Understanding these internal issues helps us better analyze the broader debates about America's security and its global strategy. One of the most frequently discussed internal challenges is political polarization. Over the past few decades, political divisions between major parties such as the Democratic Party and the Republican Party have grown stronger. Political debates that once focused mainly on policy differences are now often influenced by ideological conflicts and intense public disagreements. These divisions can make it difficult for lawmakers to pass legislation or reach compromises on key national issues. When political institutions struggle to cooperate effectively, it can slow down decision-making processes and create uncertainty about the direction of national policies. Economic inequality is another challenge that has attracted attention from economists, policymakers, and social researchers. While the United States remains one of the world's largest economies, the distribution of wealth and opportunities has become uneven in some areas. Many Americans have benefited from technological growth, financial markets, and global trade, but others have faced rising living costs, wage stagnation, and limited access to economic mobility. Discussions about economic inequality often focus on issues such as job availability, education access, housing costs, and healthcare affordability. When economic opportunities appear unequal, public frustration may increase, which can influence social stability and political debates. Social challenges also play a role in shaping internal conditions. The United States is known for its cultural diversity, with people from different ethnic, religious, and cultural backgrounds living together. While diversity can strengthen creativity and innovation, it can also create debates about identity, equality, and social justice. Public conversations about civil rights, discrimination, and equal opportunity have become central topics in modern American society. Movements advocating for fairness and representation often push institutions to re-examine policies and practices in areas such as law enforcement, education, and employment. Another internal concern relates to trust in institutions. Institutions such as government agencies, courts, and media organizations traditionally play an important role in maintaining stability and transparency. However, in recent years, some surveys and studies have suggested that public trust in institutions has fluctuated. When citizens question the reliability or effectiveness of institutions, it can lead to stronger political debates and demands for reform. Overall, these internal challenges do not mean that the United States is unable to function or remain influential. Instead, they reflect the complex realities of a large and diverse society that is constantly evolving. Like many nations, the United States continues to address internal debates while seeking solutions that strengthen governance, economic opportunity, and social cohesion. Understanding these issues helps observers and students of global politics see how internal dynamics can influence a country's position and decision-making on the international. And the idea of strategic reassessment becomes especially important in a world that is constantly evolving. Throughout history, powerful nations have had to adjust their strategies as global conditions changed. Military strength, economic dominance, and political influence alone cannot guarantee long-term security or stability. When new challenges emerge, countries must evaluate whether their current policies, alliances, and priorities are still effective. In the case of the United States, many analysts believe that the international environment of the 21st century is very different from the period immediately after World War II, when American influence expanded rapidly across political, economic, and military spheres. One of the main reasons for reassessing strategy is the changing balance of power in the global system. In earlier decades, the United States held a largely unchallenged position as the leading global superpower. However, the rise of new economic and technological powers such as China and India has created a more competitive international environment. These countries have increased their investment in technology, infrastructure, and global trade, which has shifted parts of the global economic center away from traditional Western dominance. Strategic reassessment allows a country to adapt its policies to these changes by strengthening partnerships, improving competitiveness, and maintaining influence in key regions of the world. Another important factor that encourages reassessment is the transformation of modern security threats. In the past, national security was largely focused on traditional warfare between states. Today, threats are more complex and often less visible. Cyberattacks, disinformation campaigns, economic competition, and technological rivalries can affect a nation's security just as much as military conflicts. Because of these new forms of competition, governments must reconsider how they invest in defense, technology, education, and intelligence. Modern strategies often require cooperation with international allies and organizations such as NATO, which play a key role in collective security and coordinated responses to emerging global challenges. Domestic conditions also play a crucial role in shaping global strategy. A country's ability to project influence abroad often depends on its stability and unity at home. Economic inequality, political polarization, and debates over public policy can influence how effectively a nation can respond to international challenges. Strategic reassessment, therefore, involves not only foreign policy decisions, but also improvements in domestic systems such as economic resilience, innovation, and education. By strengthening internal institutions, a country can maintain the credibility and resources needed to sustain its global leadership. Ultimately, strategic reassessment should not be seen as a sign of weakness. Instead, it reflects a nation's willingness to learn, adapt, and evolve in response to changing circumstances. In international relations, flexibility and forward-thinking policies often determine whether a country can successfully navigate new challenges. By carefully evaluating its priorities and adjusting its approach when necessary, the United States and any nation can continue to play a constructive role in shaping a stable and cooperative global order.